Steve, let's start by reflecting a little bit on the draw at Wolves. 4 points from the first 2 games. Satisfactory start?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously disappointed with, could quite easily been 6 points. But the longer the game went on at Wolves, the more pleased I was with the performance. We started off pretty average, and but the real chances we give to Wolves, we give them ourselves. So we have to stop the silly individual errors. But overall, satisfactory start, which is always decent to have.
You look at the way the team approached the game, because Molineux is never an easy place to go, is it?
Of course.
And you have the Yeloviches, the Huddlestons in the team, the players that are experienced, been there, done it. They're important in a league like this. I noticed on Sunday after the game you were saying you don't want to really be losing those players.
Well, I think that since the season started, that's always the worry. There's been a huge turnaround and huge change to the nucleus of the squad, of starting with 6 or 7 players who are out of contract. And in another world, if we'd have been in the top division, maybe not all of them would have went. But like you said before, you've got to cut your cloth, and we've had a lot of changes. And the nucleus of the squad is still good, but obviously we're still 2.5 weeks to go. Then, every day is a concern, because the phone might ring, and that's got to be the concern of all of us. We'll do our best to keep hold of the nucleus of the squad of what we've got together now, because we've got a chance as far as I'm concerned. But let's see what the next 2.5 weeks brings.
Is it more of a concern when you say you can't really have any control over it, as everybody seems to be aware?
Sorry, hang on a sec, 2 secs. Sorry, start again.
Is it more of a concern for you as manager, because as everybody seems to have been talking about, players like Tom Huddleston do have a buyout clause, and if that gets activated, there's nothing you can do about it?
Well, I'm not naive enough to think that most clubs will know who's got a buyout or not. It's the way the agents work today. So you're right, there's one thing by being the manager of the club is you like a bit of control. That's what we do it for. And in situations as what you just talked about, then we're not, or I'm not. So that's what we face. What we've got to try and do is then put things in place if we lose a couple. So we're trying to do that, and trying to balance that is very, very difficult. And we're doing our best with it what we possibly can. But that's been the story since the summer started. Really, we were the last club to do any business in terms of players in, because we were sitting waiting, if you like. But it's not an easy situation, but it is what it is. It's the fallout of being relegated and how you deal with it. And so far, we've had a good pre-season. We've been unbeaten in pre-season. We've had a decent start to the season. So the disruption is not causing us much concern at the moment.
I suppose there's a 2-pronged question to follow up to that. One, has there been any more movement as regards to Tom since you last spoke on Sunday? There's been no offers?
No.
Secondly, in the case that one of those players does end up leaving, do you have a contingency plan ready to go?
Yeah, well, I would like to think so. Whether I can put that plan into action, I'm not too quite sure, because there's lots of hurdles and all that you've got to get out the road. But yes, of course, we've got to try and have contingency plans, which we've got up our sleeve just in case that happens. But with your fear is when it goes towards the end. That's the major concern, because how many times do we see deals be done in the last 2 days, 1 day? It's quite ridiculous how it seems to happen, and that's always our fear.
Well, a year ago, I remember midnight being at the training ground and you were still going strong.
Of course.
Working on the basis that there is no movement in the next 24 hours, is everybody fit, ready to go for Fulham?
Yeah, we've got a couple of knocks. Sam Klukas and Isaac Hayden's, both got knocks. We think they'll be okay. David Myler's got a bit of a groin, but we think he's going to be okay. So we welcome back Hernandez, and he's over his suspension, so he comes into contention. So yeah, we've got probably a full squad to choose from.
Another tough challenge from a side that not so long ago were also.
Well, I think there you go. That's when you look at a club like Fulham and how well it's ran, and how long it was in the Premier League, and then all of a sudden trying to deal with the fallout of it hasn't been easy for a club of that stature too. So it's not easy at all. But at the moment we're doing okay. we're starting to lift the doom and gloom with the performance of the team, and I think the supporters can see the emergence of some very decent young players we've got, and I hope that continues.